Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here in the What a Juice channel, and welcome back to another Throwback Thursday edition of Madden 19 with the Los Angeles Chargers fantasy draft rebuild. We are entering our second off season of the series, and we've got to make some big time moves. We've got to figure out if Josh Allen really is the guy to lead this team, because once again, we didn't make the postseason. Is that because our team is old and not as good as it was, or as it could be? I don't know. Is Josh Allen not the guy? He's still a pretty low overall, so I'm not 100% sure what to do with the boy Josh Allen. We're going to have to figure all that out in this episode. Plus, we have the number 2 overall pick in the draft, so we are going to be drafting an absolute guaranteed icon in this class if there's one available. I hope you guys are excited. If you are, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's get right into it. Here we are, like I mentioned, in the off-season period. We're at the re-sign period where at the end of last episode, we were re-signing a bunch of our guys that I felt like we needed to bring back. And then we left with Jordan Phillips, and I wasn't sure. He's only 20. I say only 27. That's a little bit older, but I mean, Jordan Phillips, 76 overall. We already don't have that great of a depth at defensive tackle. And he wants a total of $17 million. I feel like that's a little bit too much for our guy Jordan Phillips. So maybe we could get him on a cheaper contract in free agency. I don't know. I just don't think that we can bring him back for what he's asking for. Josh Allen's at 78 overall. We've got Christian McCaffrey at an 89. Antonio Brown's starting to regress a little bit, which is not good. It's a little bit concerning. We have some regression here for our rookie and for La'el Collins, which is not great. Our left guard must have retired, it looks like. I don't remember who our left guard was, but it looks like we retired. And we are actually dropping off with a lot of guys. Von Miller's dropped to a 98. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned. This offseason's going to have to be really, really big. This offseason's going to have to be so massive in terms of just bringing in players to replace some of these guys and doing things, making big money moves. So we get to free agency. We have $47.89 million in available cap space, and the best overall player is Jerick McKinnon. Now remember, we did a fantasy draft, so all of the free agency is every year is screwed up because the contracts are all changed, because when you do a fantasy draft, the contracts get changed. So we've got to figure out with what's available, what can we do here? There's certainly not a quarterback better than Josh Allen. A running back, there's not a running back better than Christian McCaffrey, but there is a couple running backs that could maybe help Christian McCaffrey go. And remember, we're going to change the playbook, too, to try and get McCaffrey a little bit more involved and help Josh Allen out. We're certainly not going to pay for Jerick McKinnon, though. The football team, or the Commanders, are absolutely going crazy on Jerick McKinnon, so we're not going to pay that. We're going to, if anything, save our money. Jordan Matthews in free agency, there's not a good wide receiver to add to this team, I don't think. I guess the best one could be Malcolm Mitchell at a 77 overall, and that would just be like a pure depth move. And you know what? That didn't sound like a bad thing. He's only 27 years old. 3-year contract. We can lower this money down even more than what he's asking for because nobody's offering him. And I don't think we'll have to be in too much of a bidding war against teams for Malcolm Mitchell. He's not that great of a wide receiver. Trust me, I know. And we'll offer him that contract. 71 points, not bad. 12 million. We're about $3 or $4 million underneath what he's asking for. So at tight end, Tyler Higbee has no offers. Jesse James could be going back to the Steelers. Tyler Higbee's a scheme fit, and he's about the same overall as Jimmy Graham, so that could be pretty useful. Getting a nice high overall guy. If we'll just bring this down to $7.5 million over 3 seasons. I probably should raise that up a little bit more. I don't think he'd accept that. So we'll give his salary up to $9 million. Or his full contract up there. 61 points. Would he sign that? I could probably go a little bit higher. I could probably go a little bit higher on the contract. I don't know if he'd sign 61 points. So we'll go with about a $10.5 million contract. See if he signs. Okay, 79 points. He should sign that. That should be good. We have 41.5 million. Left tackle, there's nobody better than what we have. Left guard, there is somebody better than what we have. It's just a matter of who do we want. Do we want James Hurst or John Miller? Andrews Pete's here as well. We'd have to outbid for some people, but Andrews Pete could be pretty good. And he's 26. He's the youngest one. We were going to have to outbid people, but I think this could be a pretty good signing if we can get it. He only has normal development, but at a 73 overall, 93 points, we should be able to get him. We're just a little bit under what he's asking for. $37.7 million. Corey Linsley's not better than what we have, unfortunately. DJ Fluker, not better than what we have, although we could use a backup right guard, so maybe like Ted Karras, somebody who's cheap. Is there anybody that's like really, really cheap? I don't want to get in the 60s. So I guess we'll go with like, both these guys are about the same. They're asking for the same contract, so we'll just go for anybody. So we'll go Ted Karras on like a 2-year deal, drop the salary down a little bit more with the bonus. We'll try to get him on a cheaper contract. We'll see if he signs that. Who knows? Right tackle, I'm going to stick with Lyle Collins. On the pass rushing side of things, there's some decent guys here, but nobody that I'm really interested in. There's Jordan Phillips. Nobody's offering him a contract. I'm going to throw him a contract, but it's not going to be the contract that he was asking for. It's going to be a lot less than what he was wanting because I don't want to pay him that. So we'll offer him about $9.3 million. If he signs it, he signs it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I'm not going to be too upset about it. But there is like Adam Butler, Sheldon Day as well. We do need to bring in some D-line depth on the D-tackle spot. So I will throw some contracts at these guys. 9.45 at Sheldon Day. And I will throw a contract at Adam Butler as well. I am a decent fan of Adam Butler as a Patriot. So we'll throw him a contract. $6 million over 2 years. That shouldn't be too expensive. There we go. So if we get Sheldon Day and Adam Butler, I'll take that as a win because that's just extra D-line depth. But if we end up getting Jordan Phillips as well, then that's an even bigger win. Coney Ely is here. Henry Anderson, Randy Gregory. This is obviously before Randy Gregory became what he is now, where he's actually a really solid pass rusher. But on a contract as cheap as that, I'd offer him some points, that's for sure. I'll offer him a contract. Left outside linebacker, I'm fine with what we have. Von Miller's still a solid player. Manti Te'o would be cool, but again, the Commanders are just out here spending cash. The Commanders are out here spending so much cash. It's a little out of control. There's Zadarius Smith, and Zadarius Smith is not what he is in real life in this game. He hasn't developed into the pass rusher that he has become. But we'll throw him a small contract. Still have $22 million to spend. Corner, we could use another corner. Maybe a Quandre Diggs. You know what? Quandre Diggs could be a good one. He doesn't have any offers. And a 1-year deal, I'm fine about that. I'm certainly fine with a 1-year deal for Quandre. If he performs, he performs. And then if we could bring in another one, I'd be very much happy about that. A nice veteran Ross Cockrell. I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with a veteran move like that. Bringing in 2 solid corners. Free safety, there's not really anybody better than what we have. I'd rather stick with Jalen Watkins, plus we have him on a contract already. Cam Chancellor we still have, but he's a little bit older. But there's nobody here that I'd want to replace him with. So kicker Jake Elliott is fine, I guess, at 82 overall. And then punter we don't care about because we don't punt the football. So our negotiations are Tyler Higbee, Quandre Diggs, Randy Gregory, Malcolm Mitchell, Ross Cockrell, Jordan Phillips, Zadarius Smith, Sheldon Day, Adam Butler, Andrews Pete, and Ted Karras. The only guy that I don't think is going to sign is Jordan Phillips because we offered him such a low contract. But if he does, he does. I think these guys can help us in terms of winning more games than what we did last year, getting us a better draft pick than what we have this year. And we still have like $20-something million in cap space, so we still have a lot of guys. And Randy Gregory accepts the contract. Ted Karras accepts. Tyler Higbee accepts. Quandre Diggs accepts. Ross Cockrell accepts. Andrews Pete accepts. So that's everybody there. We won the bidding war for Andrews Pete, which is awesome. We still have $20 million. So what are the negotiations that we still have left? Malcolm Mitchell, we aren't going to get. Jordan Phillips has no offers. Sheldon Day is actually getting offers, and so is Adam Butler. Okay, wow. Okay, so we're just going to withdraw the offer on Malcolm Mitchell. That's not worth it at that point. The Jets can have him. But these 2 guys, you know what? I'll raise the contract on Jordan Phillips even more. Just a little bit more. I'll go up to 1.55. $10 10.5 million over 3 years. That's better than what he was asking. He's asking for 17 million. So, and I will bump up Zadarius Smith's contract as well. We'll bump him up to about 1.10. That should get us a little bit higher. Actually, maybe a little bit more than that. I'll give him a little bit higher. I'll give him 1.55 and the signing bonus. And once we do that, that should bring us into the green for his points. It does, 83 points. So these two guys should sign with us next simulation. Sheldon Day is probably not worth the contract. Adam Butler's probably not worth the contract. Let's go back and look at D-tackle, because D-tackle is a position that we do need, especially if we don't get Jordan Phillips. So let's go back and reevaluate this stuff. So we've got Jay Bromley. I don't really want to get guys that are in battles right now, but we might have to. Andrew Billings would be kind of cool. He's only 25. You know what? Let's bring in Andrew Billings, or at least offer him a contract. We don't have to offer him too much because he's not a great player. So we'll offer him that. And I would like to bring in one other guy, Malik McDowell. He's not worth the money. Corey Peters, I mean, as a veteran, just a high overall veteran, would be good to have. So we'll go for like a 1 year, $3.45 million contract. See what he says to that. All right, so those are the two new possible D tackles, plus Jordan Phillips is still there. And we have some scouting to do. I don't know what we're going to do with the first or with the second overall pick. As you can see, we have a round 1, a round 3, 4, 5, and 7. We don't have our second round pick. I don't know what we do with it. Depends on who goes at number 1. Would Ed Lynch go at number 1? Would this guy, Sadiq Stevens? He looks pretty decent, but he's not very fast. 4.81. Scott Starkley, we do need a D tackle, and he looks pretty solid. This class isn't like amazing in terms of like stud players. This isn't the class to probably have the number 2 overall pick, especially because like Ed Lynch, I mean, he looks really good. He's got 4.6 speed, but he might go number 1 overall. He would probably be my pick. One of these two guys is probably going to be the pick. Although that linebacker is not very fast. 4.8 speed as a linebacker is not very fast at all. So let's go and spend some of these points. We don't need to draft a quarterback. We could just spend some points on a running back really quickly. We don't really need to get a running back. Wide receiver, we've spent a lot of points on wide receivers so far. Tight ends. Tight ends could be very useful. I don't think there's a tight end that we need to get. Kendall Garrett looks okay. 6'7". This dude's 6'7", so is this dude. But he's not as good as LaMarcus Long. Wow. LaMarcus Long, you ain't kidding. We might have to trade up for that guy. That dude looks really good in terms of just height at 6'7". Okay, very intrigued by that. Right guard, Alan Oman could be good, I guess. The offensive lines in these class are never great. So let's simulate to the next week and see if we are going to get those D tackles. Hopefully we do. Hopefully Jordan Phillips accepts his contract, because then we just fleeced him. We just got him on like $7 million cheaper. So Zadarius Smith does accept his new structured contract. Corey Peters is coming. Jordan Phillips accepts, and Andrew Billings. So we got 3 new D tackles to go alongside Mr. Jonathan Allen. So that's the depth at D tackle taken care of. That's perfect. Our pass rush is Jonathan Hankins, Randy Gregory, Desmond Wolfe, and Danico Autry. I like that. The linebackers look a little bit better now. We could use another middle linebacker, but Cadigan looks okay. The cornerback room is the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about in free safety. That's the only thing I'm a little bit worried about on defense. On offense, our offensive line looks kind of rough, but our offense in general looks good. We have pretty decent weapons with the addition of Tyler Higbee now, and I do want to change our playbook and stuff. So I already changed it. We are running the Carolina playbook for next season. Is this vertical power run our best scheme fit? Vertical zone run is 84. I think we'll go vertical zone run. And then what's the base defense? Base 4-3. It looks like base 4-3 is probably the best defense that we can use. Although multiple 3-4 could be good. Let's go multiple 3-4. That looks pretty good. So we'll go with that. And then we will see what that changed to. Did that change our defense look at all? So we have, okay, so we have Cadigan actually starting now at middle linebacker 2, which I don't mind because that leaves the D tackle spot less vulnerable. But now we're going to have to really bank on Cadigan being a good player. And he's got star development, so this just gives him more chance to become a great player. So I like that change there. Then we have Quandre Diggs, Ross Cockrell, Joe Hayden, Eli Apple. Our cornerback depth is really deep. It's just they don't have very high overalls. So that's the only problem I have with that. We've got more scouting to do. We'll scout with the safeties. We'll scout safeties because we do need safety. And it doesn't look like there's an absolute like game-changing safety on the board this year, at least in free safety. We'll check strong safeties if we get some more points. I don't know. This draft's going to be very interesting because I'm very curious about that tight end too. Like that tight end looks really solid at 6'7". But we don't have a second-round pick, so we'd have to trade somebody to get a second-round pick, and I don't know if we can. Rashard Irving is a mid-first rounder. He doesn't look bad. He doesn't look bad at all. We're definitely going to have to make some decisions in terms of do we want to trade up, what do we want to do. Cornerbacks, Brian Pete could be good. He ran 4.3. We'll put him on the list, but he's, again, a high overall, or a high draft pick. He's going to be a high draft pick. So that's the last of the points that we have. So we'll go to the draft, but I won't jump into the draft because I don't know if I want to trade for anybody yet. Don't know if I want to trade for anybody yet. We definitely need to make some moves. We need to do something. We need to do something here. Hopefully the new change in the playbook helps Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey. The offensive line is what concerns me. I don't think the offensive line is very good. Obviously, you can tell by the C pluses and C's. We need to have a better offensive line. I just don't think... That's definitely our weakest link is offensive line. But I don't think we have the assets to trade for a better offensive lineman. I just don't think that's possible. But do we have the assets to trade for a second-round pick? A high second-round pick is preferable because that tight end could go high second round. And now that we have changed the scheme, we don't need like Andrew Billings on the team because we have depth now. We have even more depth. So if we could snag a second-round pick for Andrew Billings, a high second-round pick preferably, pick 36 could be good. Pick 36 might actually be the best one, and they need a D-tackle. So we'll see what we got here. They declined that offer. Not surprising. But if we throw them a third-round pick and a seventh-round pick, hopefully they accept this. No, they declined that. Okay. We'll go with... What else do they need? They need offensive line just like we do. I'll give you Jonnu because we'd be using the second-round pick to draft that tight end. So they don't want Jonnu. Do they want Jimmy Graham? I'll give you Jimmy Graham. They don't want Jimmy. Okay. So maybe the Dolphins... Second-round pick for Andrew Billings is going to be tough to come by. So that's just the thing, the way things are. Let's see. Pick 42 from the Panthers could be nice, and they need a D-tackle, and they're willing to, or they're interested in Andrew Billings. That's a change of pace there. I'll throw him up straight up and see what they say about that. They are very interested in that. So now we throw that 7th-round pick in there, see what that does, see if that changes things. It doesn't make much of a difference, but we'll go in and we'll throw a 4th-round pick next year. And they decline it, but a 3rd-round pick will get it done. A 3rd-round pick next year will get it done. Andrew Billings traded to the Panthers for a 2nd-round pick. We now have a 2nd-round pick to try and use it on that tight end. I hope he'll be there. I hope he'll be there when we get up to draft. But it's time to start the NFL draft. Start drafting the 2020 NFL draft. We will pause. And the Colts have the #1 overall pick. I think they'll take that lineman, Ed Lynch. I think they'll take him. If they don't, we'll take Ed Lynch. If they do, then we'll have some things to talk about. Because I don't think that Sadiq Stevens is that good. He's slow. He didn't perform well at the combine. He's got decent top skills. I just don't think he's going to be that great. Scott Starkley, on the other hand, looks like a really solid D-tackle. But do we take a D-tackle at #2? That's not really something you want to do. As for wide receiver, we've got Basmeen Rice, who could be solid. Pierce Brandon looks just about as good as Scott Starkley. Then you've got Cooper Harston, who ran a 4.5, so he looks better than Sadiq Stevens after all. And he's later in the draft too. Not later in the draft, but he's down the board just a little bit. Then there's Rashard Irvin. We might have to take Rashard Irvin after everything, but let's figure out who the Colts take. Is it going to be that Ed Lynch guy, or is it going to be anybody else? Next pick, it's Scott Starkley, and he's an 82. Wow, I didn't think that Scott Starkley was that good of a player. He didn't look that great, but at 82 overall, now Ed Lynch is available. But we do have to do our due diligence. We have to look at this. So we could trade back to pick 6 and get a second and a third, but Ed Lynch would be gone by that point. If I'm going to trade back, I'm going to trade back for 2 first-round picks. That's just guaranteed. And the only people that are offering me that are players or are draft picks that are not as close as I want. This one's not bad. Pick 7 this year. Okay, so this is where we have to figure out, do we want to take Ed Lynch? We have Jonathan Hankins. We have, what's his name? Derek Wolfe. Is Ed Lynch a game changer, generational talent? Because if he is, then we have to take him at 2. If we don't think he is, then we can trade back, get a first-round pick, extra first-round pick next year, plus pick 7. And at pick 7, I would guess maybe a guy like Cooper Harston's available, or Rashard Irvin, or Brian Pete. Some of these guys would be available, or even Pierce Brandon would be still available, I would guess. So, I mean, that's the thing we have to think about. Do we think Ed Lynch is a generational type pass rusher? Looking at his stats, he looks to be really, really good. I would guess like a 78, 79 overall player with star development. I don't know if it's worth it, because we have the opportunity to have 2 first-round picks next year, plus we'd only be moving back to pick 7. That's not like that bad, and we'd be getting like a 3rd-round pick too, I think is what they were offering. I think that's the best move. I think I'm trying to talk myself out of it, but I don't want to. I think this Commanders trade is better than what we could get with Ed Lynch. I'm going to do the deal. We get a first-round pick next year, we get an extra 3rd-round pick, and we get a move back to pick 7. So if that was a bad move and Ed Lynch is like a Hall of Fame level talent, then I will be upset. I'm assuming he's going to go here. No, Cooper Harston goes. He's an 80 overall. Wow, he was a little bit far down the board. If we could swindle Ed Lynch out of this, that'd be amazing, but I feel like he's going to go 82 for George Martinez. These are high overall players. Dolphins at 4, take Pierce Brandon, 77 overall. Ed Lynch was an 82. He was a couple of picks away from us. And now Heath Sheffield goes. Wow, there's a lot of high overall players in this draft class. There's only been 177 overall so far. Ed Lynch was so close to coming to us. That was crazy. So the D tackle, the outside linebacker actually went, which I was going to take Harston. I was going to take him. But this Rashard Irvin guy is very intriguing. He looks really solid, but he's only a mid-first round talent, which is what kind of throws me away from him. I want to get a guy that's a early first-round talent because you know he's going to be solid. And you've got Basmin Rice and Sestiq Stevens. I gotta take a flyer on Sestiq Stevens. Is he the guy? He's a 77 overall with superstar. Wow. He's a 77 overall with superstar. He doesn't look that fast. He's got 78 speed, 80 excel, 82 tackle. Is he good? Yeah, he's good. He has horrible coverage, man coverage at least. He's got 86 block shed, which is good, but his coverages are not great. He's gonna be a project, but at pick 7, I think that's decent value. Who else goes? Basmin Rice is an 80. Brian Pete is an 81. Oh, I should have taken Brian Pete. I knew it. I knew I should have taken Brian Pete. Christian Farmer, the right tackle from Ohio State, goes. Rajon Callaway, another right tackle from Ohio State. Daquan Randall goes. Wait, did that... the safety hasn't gone yet. Rashard Irvin still is here. The quarterbacks are still on the board, too. I guess nobody needed a quarterback. Jacksonville's on the clock. Jacksonville's on the clock. We have pick 10 in the 2nd round. There goes Brandon Kindle. AJ Miles. Derek Terry. Oops, I didn't mean to resume the draft there. No, stop it. You keep going down a little bit too far. There we go. Okay. Let's go up to here and skip to the next pick. Rob Moore. There goes Rashard Irvin. He was a 77 as well, so I don't feel as bad missing out on him. Arthur Long. Fisher-Smithson, what a name that is. There goes a quarterback to the Lions. And we are entering the late stages of the first round. Ryan Patchett, CJ Colclo? What a name. Wow, I did not expect that. That threw me off there. Gordon Leon. LaMarcus Long is an 80, and he went in the first round. I really did not think that was going to happen. Oh, that's frustrating. I thought he would make it to the second round at least. Wow, they stole him. They stole him from me. That's frustrating. Very, very frustrating. But we come up here in the second round. Remember, we also have 2 third-round picks because of that trade back. So here we are. We have a chance at anything. Remember, we can also trade back. Here's the quarterbacks. Russell Ackerman is a mid-first round talent. He looks like he has decent stats. Curry Daniel ran 4.5. He's an early first-round talent, 23 years old. Kind of throws me off of him. But at the second round might not be a bad choice. Russ Cox, early second-round talent, could be decent. Who do we have on the draft board still available? Just Tyrell Scuda. He's a late first-round talent, left outside linebacker, but we already drafted a left outside linebacker, so I'm not going to take another one. Do we take this quarterback, Curry Daniel, or do we trade back in the draft? We're either going to take Curry Daniel or we're going to trade back. That's the only options that I'm feeling. And there's not a lot of great options. I was hoping maybe somebody would throw a first-round pick at me, but it doesn't look like anybody's going to do it. We could get, excuse me, we could get a second-round pick this year, just move back in the draft, and then get a fourth-round pick next year. We could get 2 thirds. Or a second and... Ooh, the Cleveland Browns next year are offering me a second and a third. So we'd have 2 firsts, we'd have 2 seconds, and 2 thirds, or maybe 3 thirds. I don't remember. Ooh. That's very interesting. Do we think that quarterback Curry Daniel is good? Is the question. Because he's still on the board in the second round. He's an early first-round talent, so he could be a bust. But this trade looks too good to pass up. 2 first-round or 2 second-round picks, or 2 draft picks next year. The problem is I don't think that Curry Daniel slides to the third round. So if I do want him, I'd have to get him now. He doesn't have the stats that the other Ackerman guy has, but he looks like a decent player. 6'2", 219 scrambler. He ran a 4.5, the fastest at the combine. Take Curry Daniel. What is he? He's a 77 with quick, so he's already 1 overall lower than Josh Allen. All right, I don't hate that pick. We could have got some more draft picks for next year. I don't hate that pick at all. Russ Cox ends up being a 75. Advance to the next user pick, which is the top of the third round. Russell Ackerman actually makes it to the third round. He was the pick before us, and he was a 78, so he was 1 overall higher than what our quarterback was. And now we get to the part where there's not really anybody good, / there's nobody left that I scouted. So let's see. Long Kelly. He ran a 4.5. He's 6'5" out of Clemson, and he has a great name. Or you have Cedric Douglas, who ran a 4.3. Wow, Cedric Douglas looks pretty solid. 5'11". I'm taking Cedric Douglas, man. That might be a little bit of a risk. 74 with normal, but he has 96 speed, 87 acceleration. I feel like he could develop into something. 96 speed, 87 acceleration. That's pretty good. I'd say that is pretty darn good. And if that other wide receiver's still there, that long guy, whatever his name was, I forget his name. If he's still there, then I'll take him too because he looked pretty good. He is gone. He got taken. But Gordon Freeman's here, late first round or late third rounder. Let's take Gordon Freeman. We need a free safety. 74 with normal. It was a good pick, but who knows if he's going to be anything. Now we go to the fourth round, pick 2. And this is where we absolutely have nobody scouted, probably. Actually, we have all of our busts scouted. So we'll go to the scouted portion, and I would guess it's all bad players. There's a couple other free safeties here. What about this guy, Neighbors? Early 5th round guy, doesn't look great. Renardo Claybrooks. Probably looks a little bit better than the guy that we took earlier. Let's take Renardo. Renardo Claybrooks. What a name that is. 77 with normal. He's ranked 25 in the class. Okay, good pick. Now we go to the 5th round. So we've taken a linebacker, a quarterback, a wide receiver, and 2 free safeties. It's what we've taken so far. But we do need depth. Depth is certainly something we need. Let's go to tight end and see if there's anybody here. 6'8"? Out of Ohio State? You've sold me. I don't even have to see what you are. Spencer Petrie, 6'8". He's almost 7 feet tall. I'm taking him. I don't care. 72 with normal. He's 6'8". He's 6 foot. He's a monster. We don't have any more picks. That's the last pick in the draft. Spencer Petrie, 6'8". My God, that is a monster among men. That's as tall as some like offensive linemen. Rare that an offensive lineman would be that tall, but still, 6'8" is insane. It's actually insane. I did not think that'd be the case. And we didn't have really a bad pick in this draft. And Curry Daniel could be taking Josh Allen's job, that's for sure. Draft recap. We saw some that first couple, or like the first couple picks, like pick 1 through whatever it was. There was a lot of good players in that draft. Sadiq Stevens is a 77 overall. Then we got Curry Daniel. There's Clay Brooks. There's Cedric Douglas. There's Freeman, and then Spencer Petrie. He's got 81 speed at 6'8", is just insane. What's his catch in traffic? Where's his catch in traffic at? His catch in traffic is 71. That's just his catching. His catch in traffic is 66. I don't care. He's gonna be a stud. 6'8". He's gonna be an absolute animal. An absolute freaking animal. The best player in the class was Starkley, who went number 1 overall at 82 overall. Then George Martinez. That would have been nice to have. Maybe I should have taken him instead of trading back. Ed Lynch. I thought Ed Lynch was gonna fall to us. I really did. I was kind of hoping that he would. And then Cooper Harston went number 2 overall. I did not see that coming at all. He was an 80. I was going to probably take him at 7 if he was there. We are in the preseason for year number 3. And Josh Allen might be having somebody breathe down his neck for his job. He might be having somebody breathe down his neck for his job. 77 overall, Curry Daniel. If Josh Allen doesn't perform this season, it could be lights out for him. Who knows? Curry Daniel could be on his way to the starting spot. Our linebacking core looks good. Our defensive line looks good. Corners are okay. Safeties now look a little bit better, especially with Clay Brooks there as well. So that's awesome. Stevens, there's Sadiq Stevens. Okay. I like what we have here on this team. Are we good? I don't know. Don't ask me if we're good or not. I need to go to the depth chart and make sure that the draft pick, the wide receiver that we just took, that Douglas guy, I need to make sure that he is kick returning because he's an absolute speed demon. This guy's only got 83 speed. 96 speed for the guy that we just took last year, Elgin Waller. But here is Cedric Douglas out of Michigan, or Central Michigan. They're both 96 speed. So, but he has 95 excel. Okay, we're going to bump him up to number 1, Elgin Waller. And then Douglas will be the secondary guy, and then the punting will have Elgin Waller be the main punt guy, and then we'll have Cedric Douglas. If I can find him, where's Cedric Douglas at? He should be right up here. Is he not? Oh, there he is. He's all the way down there. Did I pass him? There he is. Cedric Douglas can be the secondary punter. Perfect. Third down running back, Christian McCaffrey. Power running back, Marshawn Lynch. Slot receiver, John Ross. Do I like that? Or do I want to give it to one of our studs? Does this guy have... I can't see his play card. I wanted to know if he had like star development or anything. I feel like we should give one of the studs... Let's give one of the studs a shot. We'll give it to the guy who's a little bit faster. He's got 96 speed, 95 excel, 92 agility. That dude's a freaking animal. We'll give it to him. Maybe he can develop into something. I don't know. But I do want to see, does he have star development or anything? Elgin Waller, there he is. He has only normal out of Purdue. Okay, so far we haven't hit very well with the development traits of our wide receiver draft picks, but we've done pretty well everywhere else. I think this team is pretty good, although I said that last year and we ended up with the 2nd overall pick, so maybe this team isn't that great. Hopefully we see some more progression from Josh Allen. Otherwise, we've got a guy right behind him that has superstar development, right? He has superstar? Curry Daniel? No, he only has quick. Who had superstar? Was it one of our guys. Oh, it was Sestiq Stevens had superstar. That's right. So Curry Daniels got star, but he is breathing down the neck of Josh Allen. If Josh Allen has a struggling season like he has the past couple of years, Curry Daniels got all the reason to be the starter next year. So we'll see what happens. But that is going to do it for the episode. I'm going to get all the preseason stuff done as normal, and then I will see you guys at week number 1 for next Thursday's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below what you thought of the draft picks and the offseason in general. And yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace!